Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Cabral Concept. Thanks so much for joining me here today on our Training Thursday show. Today is a show I've been really looking forward to getting back into, and that's because over the past few weeks or so, I haven't gotten directly into a lot of exercise-related topics. Part of the reason is that there's so many subjects that I've been looking to speak on and go through. Some of them to do with toxicity, some to do with low signs of certain minerals or protein or amino acids or neurotransmitters, etc., that I needed to get those answers to people. I really did, because they wrote in with them. I hadn't done a show on them before, and I wanted to get that out to you. Now, today's topic is a little different. I've spoken about it many times in many different ways, and I've really gone after certain aspects of it. But today what I want to do is I want to dedicate a show to adding muscle the natural way. That means without overdoing supplements or without using testosterone replacement therapy, TRT, or anabolic steroids, or any number of these items that are, of course, very popular today in any gym around the world. I mean, literally, when I was in India now about 10 years ago, I was there and there were gyms there. There were not a lot, don't get me wrong, but people were still using steroids. Like it's rampant no matter where you are in any part of the world. So this is for men and women, today's show, not just for men. There are many women that we work with we have 2 locations in Boston, but in our studio location that specializes in body transformation, who want to tone their body, look more fit overall, and increase strength, and all that's great. So for some people, we're not talking about packing on a ton of muscle. What we're talking about is how do you optimize your workouts, your nutrition, your lifestyle to tone up your body. And for those people, men and women, who want to put on more muscle naturally, maybe they're naturally a Vata-based body type or naturally an ectomorph. What do we do to increase muscle size? I'm going to go through that with you today. I'm going to cover the basics. I'm going to go through exercise routines. I'm going to go through supplementation. I'm going to go through sleep. I'm going to go how many workouts per day? What should your overall macros and carb cycling, all that look like? So it's a fun show for me. I mean, really, a lot of the times it's funny because I'll be in my office locked away all day for like 10 hours and I'll be reading dozens of labs. I'll be reading research. I'll be going through books. I'll be, writing curriculum for the integrative health practitioner course and certification. And my mind will be going through all these different health-related aspects and state-of-the-art, lab testing, all of these great things. But it's funny because at the end of the day, and a lot of times, what I like to do around 3:30, 4 o'clock is just check out for an hour. And I go to the gym and I throw weights around as if I was, 20 years old again. And it's fun. It's that animalistic side of us sometimes that we just like to lift weights and we like to push our body and we like to work hard. We're meant to do some type of manual labor, some type of movement with our body, no matter who we are. I mean, really, that's built into us. Now, you don't have to crush your body. I'm not saying that, and I don't do that either. I still like to do some really hard workouts every once in a while, but it's not 4-6 weeks in a row of really hard workouts. And I've spoken about that before on how to use unloading weeks, on how to periodize your workout model so that you don't burn out. And I do recommend you go back to our Training Thursday shows. Every Thursday, most Thursdays, there's a Training Thursday show. Some of them are Toxic Thursdays, right? Sometimes we go around nutrition and training, but it has to do for the most part with some type of exercise. And this is something that if you're not exercising, you have to. You don't have to add a lot of, muscle. You don't have to lift super heavy. You don't have to do any of those things, but you have to move your body. If you want to live a long life and if you want to have a good quality of life, you have to keep this machine, this body, this organism, this entity that we walk through life with healthy. And that means if you want to go through life without the aches and pains, without all the stiffness, without feeling weak, it is imperative. And it's crucial that we work our body. Now, do you have to work it a lot? Do you have to work it every day? No. But you should move more days than not. That means 4 days per week. And I'm going to go through that today. So where I want to start with is this. Basics of nutrition. I'm going to get into the workouts in a moment. That's a lot of the times where I have a lot of fun with. I mean, I really am. I started this when I was 17, 18 years old, when I was really sick. And I was dealing with a lot of health issues that I couldn't figure out. No doctor could figure them out. And I was on my own. So I had lost a lot of weight, lost a lot of muscle, was basically emaciated, didn't know what was wrong with me. So I turned to the gym, and I turned to nutrition, and I turned to nutritional supplements. And I actually found a lot of refuge in them, and I got a lot of results from them. It was like my first, true love of the health and fitness and exercise industry was getting into exercise. So right away, I went to the gym for the very first time at 17, and I saw personal trainers there, and I was like, what are these, people doing? And a lot of times back then it was mostly guys, but believe it or not, my aunt, who's probably about 20 years older than me, one of my aunts, she was actually a personal trainer from way back in the day. So that's really cool to see. And now, I'm happy to say and happy to see, I would say it's not quite 50-50, but it might be like 60-40 for male to female personal trainers. And so, that's great to see. There's a nice balance. So anyway, when I was back 17 years old, I all of a sudden this new thing opened up to me that people could become a personal trainer, that they could help others with their body. And so for me, since I was always into sports and I could no longer play sports anymore because my body was decimated by this illness that I had, it was great to be able to then have an outlet and go to the gym. Now, did I push myself too hard when I first went to the gym? Absolutely. I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. But that then led me to becoming a personal trainer when I was 18 years old. I basically looked at it as, why not? I need to make an income because I need a job. And I loved nutrition and I loved exercise. So it was like the perfect fit. And so for me, going back to exercise, because I didn't know as much about, nutrition and supplementation as I did back then, still was learning about it, but I really got into exercise. So for me, it's been a passion of mine, and it always will be. One day, maybe my family and I will move out of the side of the city. We'll see if it ever happens. And we'll have a house and I'll have a home gym. That's something that I've always looked forward to, like having that home gym, being able to really exercise there. Now, do I when I'm at home? Yeah, sure. I have a pull-up bar. I have some adjustable dumbbells. I have a kettlebell. I have some small things that I can put in a closet. But for me, like it's a fun thing. And you have to start to make exercise fun. That's a big part of today's podcast. You have to start to make it fun. And that means you can do things, whatever it is that you enjoy. So let's go into what I would recommend for the absolute best things that you can do to increase overall muscle size or to begin to really tone up that body. Okay, so the first thing is this. Let's get into nutrition. Before we get into should you be using protein shakes or things like that, let's talk about this. I have a podcast called Why 3 Meals Per Day. I definitely recommend going back and listening to that podcast. Why Make the Move to 3 Meals Per Day, I believe it's called. And on that podcast, I go into all of the health benefits of going to 3 meals per day. Now, keep in mind, the recommendations I'm giving you right now are not the absolute pinnacle of recommendations if you were simply looking to pack on a lot of muscle. I'm giving you them also from a health-based perspective. This is very important because the recommendations I would have gave you 20 years ago would be different than they are today. Now, they would have been correct in terms of adding muscle, but not necessarily in terms of long-term health. So for example, in terms of nutrition, I would have recommended more meals per day, and I would have recommended more meat because the more anabolic foods you eat, the more muscle you will put on. There is no denying that. I've done the experiment many, many times with many, many people. And yes, if you want to be completely vegan and plant-based, you can put on muscle. It's not that you can't. It's just you would put on more if you're eating more meat. And even gram for gram protein-wise, and even amino acid-wise. Anabolic foods, such as dairy products and meat products, will help you put on muscle. And the reason is this. It's not the amino acid profile. It's the fact that they increase cholesterol, which helps you produce more testosterone. And they also increase a few other things. One I won't get into today is norepinephrine or epinephrine, which is going to increase energy, adrenaline, which will help you more in the gym. But the biggest one is it's going to increase, well, two things. One is mTOR, which I'll get into in a future podcast. And the other is IGF-1 or growth hormone. And there's no getting around that. But that doesn't mean that you have to eat a ton of meat in order to get in great shape. But if you're looking for the absolute maximum, yes, you would increase that. And you would also do more meals per day. Then there's no worry about dipping into a low catabolic state where your body might use muscle tissue as fuel. But the problem is, if you want to be healthy, you want to maintain health while putting on muscle, and that's not the best way to do it. So we still want to do 3 meals per day. But what we're also going to do is add in a smoothie on your workout days. And we're going to add that in as a post-workout smoothie. What does that mean? Well, we're going to add carbs to it in the form of fruit, and we're going to add in your favorite protein powder. We use the daily nutritional support, and for those people who want more than the 15 grams of protein in it, we have them add in a hemp protein to that. Now, if you're someone that wants to use whey protein, you're welcome to. I just highly recommend running a food sensitivity test if you're using whey protein or any type of protein as part of your overall nutrition plan, especially if you're doing it at a higher amount. Do tune into the podcast I did on casein protein, which is the one protein you want to stay away from. Okay, and I give all the reasons why on that show. So here's the nice thing about doing the smoothie on the days that you're working out, is that it's carb cycling at its best. So for those people who are trying to add muscle but not put on a lot of body fat, you can do your typical macros for every day of the week. And then in the days that you burn more and you are working out of the gym, you're going to add in a smoothie after that workout. Now, I've done previous shows of how many carbs to how much protein, and it honestly depends on how much weight you're looking to gain. For those people looking to gain more weight, we do more carbs. It's typically about a 4-to-1 ratio, and then it goes down to a 1-to-1 ratio for those people looking to just maintain muscle or put in a little bit more. And there is no steadfast rule. Again, hopefully you checked out my previous show last Thursday on hermetic-based stressors and the understanding why there is no all for one. But we have to start somewhere. I have to give you a foundation at least to start from. So people would say like, well, I need to eat 3,000 calories a day. And in 3 meals, that might be difficult. Well, maybe not. It's not hard to get 1,000 calories per meal. It's really not. I mean, when I look at my nutrition, I'm doing 3 meals per day, and I am doing that afternoon smoothie for the most part on the days that I work out. So, and I'm keeping my calories around 3,000 per day. So in the morning, I'm going to get, they're pretty evenly distributed, but in the morning, it might be around 800, 900 calories. And the same with lunch. That might be a little higher, around 1,100 calories or so. And then at dinner, it's going to be just under that. So you can make it happen for the calories that you need per day. And the thing is, I've done shows before on the breakdown in macros. We're not going to go through all of that today. But an easy way to get more calories for those people looking to increase their caloric needs is simply a good olive oil or avocados. Every tablespoon of fat contains 120 calories per tablespoon of fat. Now, again, we don't want to go overboard with fat, but as you're increasing all of your calories, you can still keep that within ratio, and it's not going to fill you up. So that can simply be part of it. So for me, I can do, even if I want to do an extra apple and oatmeal in the morning, and I can still do my smoothie with my protein right in it, my daily nutritional support. So those are easy things to do. So it's why, again, you can add more than 3 meals per day, but go back and listen to my show as to why I recommend 3 meals per day. So that even if you're eating a larger amount each meal, you still give yourself 4 hours or maybe even more between meals to let your blood sugar come back down. A lot of people, when they're eating 5 meals per day, 6 meals or 6 times per day eating, their blood sugar is always elevated. And it's not good for overall metabolic health. And that has to do with your cardiovascular system, your blood pressure, your cell membranes, etc. Really important. Your pancreas, everything has to work harder. And the other time with 3 meals per day is that you actually then don't have to be using energy all day long for digestion. So that's super important to look at. All right, really important. Now, again, I've done shows on should you eat before your workouts. There's something to be said for creating one big smoothie and drinking it before your workout, a little bit during your workout, and after your workout. You just make a big 24 or 30-ounce smoothie and drink it the whole time over your workout. And the reason is, then there's no chance of you really tapping into any muscle tissue, and you're getting amino acids and everything at the same time, right? So it's an easy way to do it. And then after your workout, you can do your creatine if you're deciding to use creatine monohydrate, a nice way to be able to increase the sarcoplasm inside the muscles. The muscles will grow that way. They will swell. But creatine also helps you produce more ATP. It can help with mood, help with energy, and it will allow you to hopefully recover faster between sets, lift more weight, which will then create more muscle. So it can be a very good product. And I've done podcasts on creatine as well. It's a very safe product for most people. It's been studied for decades upon decades. It has a lot of research on it. And it works, plain and simple. So you can use that for anywhere between, typically we have people use it anywhere between 6 and 8 weeks. They come off of it. They might come off for 4 weeks or so, and they can go back on if they'd like. We just seem to get really good results with that. So we just depend on when the person needs to use it. The other thing I get asked all the time is, should someone be using a branched chain amino acid? Well, the truth is I don't necessarily want to use just leucine, isoleucine, and valine for our branched chain amino acids, when we know that they can then create imbalances in other parts of the body, namely an overproduction of dopamine or other neurotransmitters that aren't balanced then with serotonin, GABA, etc. So my opinion is this: you're going to be getting plenty of branched chain amino acids if you're eating enough protein. So if you're eating enough protein, we're going to go into that next, you get all of your amino acids, even if it's completely plant-based. So I've done a lot of study on this, and it used to be thought that in order for you to get all of your amino acids, you had to get, meaning for it to be complete, you had to get them all at one meal. So you had to combine your beans with rice or beans with corn or something like that, right, for plant-based foods. Well, it turns out now, as long as you're getting all of the amino acids over the course of 24 hours, you've covered your bases. So really important to look at that is that you don't have to get them all at one meal. Now remember, most meals are going to be a complete amino acid profile in the first place. So if you're using a pea-based protein, a hemp-based protein, and you're mixing that with other items in your smoothie, you're covered. You're good. You're going to be fine. Now, can you use additional branched chain amino acids is the question. Yes, you can, but I don't believe that you have to or need to. So could you use them on an empty stomach before training in order to, again, keep the body in more of an anabolic state? You could. That would be your choice. If you're looking to, use additional nutritional supplements, you could do that. Okay, that would be fine. But again, you're going to be covered if you're doing 3 meals per day and that smoothie after your workout, right? For that extra boost in calories, but also fuel, so that your body does have everything it needs right after that workout. And again, for body fat loss, I like people to wait an hour after the workout. For people looking to put on muscle, I like that smoothie to come right after the workout, right away. Get the fuel to the body, right to the muscles. The carbs, the fruit will help with increasing insulin. The protein will help with bringing that amino acids and everything that's needed for repair right to those muscle tissues. It works great. It always has, right? For decades and decades, we know that. Okay. The next thing we want to move on to workouts is this. I want you to be doing 3 to 4 workouts per week. For most people, 3 weight training workouts is plenty and more than enough. And that's because they need recovery more than they need the workouts. If you're someone that kind of teeter-totters between gaining weight and wants to add muscle too, meaning like, let's say you're someone who's more prone to adding body fat, sure, you could definitely take that up to 4 times a week. If you're someone that's naturally thinner, has a hard time putting on muscle, you want to stick with more like 3 times a week. And the reason is, when you're working out, you're hindering your results of growth. I want to repeat that. When you are working out, you are not growing. When you're sleeping, when you're recovering, when you're eating, when you're getting light massage, when you're doing stretching, that's when you're growing, right? You're breaking down the muscle tissue while you work out, creating microscopic tears, And then when you are not working out, you're repairing. So I'm going to give you a simple split. If you're someone that needs to put on muscle and weight in general 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, perfect. It's all you need. It's all you need. Full body workouts 3 times a week. I'll give you the exercises in just a moment. All right. If you're someone that wants to really maybe bring up some lagging body parts, or they need to keep the body fat off while adding muscle, 4 times a week. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off, Thursday, Friday workout. Now you can play with that a little bit. It could be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off, Thursday, Friday off, Saturday on. Could be that. So that's going to be up to you. You get to play with that a little bit more because you have to be slightly careful that you don't take off more than 2 days in a row so that you don't let that metabolism drop. Now, a lot of people need to work out on the weekend. They absolutely do because they, as I say, they go off the rails Saturday night. It's alcohol, it's eating, it's poor sleep, it's everything, right? So that's a good day to make sure your metabolism is elevated. So if you know that Saturday nights for you are, you just kind of throw caution to the wind, as they say, right? You eat whatever you want, you have alcohol, work out on a Saturday. It's going to help you. It's going to help you better metabolize all the glucose. Without a doubt, it will. So work out that day. Doesn't have to be a bone-crushing workout, but you can do your cardio and you can do your weights. That will elevate your metabolism. Your body will then be looking to use calories for repair. Simple, right? Simple in, simple out, right? You used up things, now you need to repair them. It's an easy way to be able to enjoy those cheat meals a little bit more. Work out the day of the cheat meal. It will, again, it will help you. There's no doubt about that. So that's your workout split. Full body workouts, no matter what. Really, no matter what. You're going to get the most benefit with a full body workout. Could you do upper body Monday, lower body Tuesday, Wednesday off, upper body Thursday, lower body Friday? You could. If you wanted to, you could. You could also do another approach, which is upper body push, lower body pull Monday, upper body pull Tuesday, lower body push, right? On Tuesday, and then just do the same exact for Thursday, Friday. I have a whole book on this. It's called A Man's Guide to Muscle and Strength. I wrote it back in 2010. It was published in 2011, I believe. It's on Amazon. It's on our website at equilibriumnutrition.com as well. It's a year's worth of workouts. I make $1, I think, per book. I mean, it's not, the publisher does well. But here's the thing. You can get that book. It has all of the workouts. That's already done for you. It's literally a year of workouts. So you can choose from that if you'd like. And that will give you all the different exercise programs to choose from. Really straightforward. It gives you body weight workouts. It gives you cable workouts. It gives you barbell workouts, whatever you're into, whatever you're looking to do. For most people, I recommend beginning with the starter workout 1 and the starter workout program 2 in there. That's what we do. And that's how we start, clients for the most part. The other thing is this. No matter what you're doing, no matter what program you're following, focus on compound movements. If you are looking to add muscle and you're focused on doing bicep curls and tricep extensions, you're missing the boat. You really are. The way that you're going to pack on muscle, even in your arms, believe it or not, is through deadlifts, squats, lunges, step-ups, chest presses, shoulder presses, lat pull-downs or pull-ups, whatever you'd like to do. It could be chin-ups, and rows. That's it. Those are the movements. Now, you can get fancy with all of those, but those are the movements. Make no mistake about it. Because that is the majority of the muscle tissue in your body. Your lats in your back make up a lot of muscle. Your glutes, your quads, your hamstrings, they make up a lot of muscle. As the whole body grows, your arms and shoulders will grow as well. And that's because you have to hold all of those weights for all of those movements. And your biceps are a secondary mover and muscle group in any back exercise you do, or any pulling movement with your legs, like deadlifts. And your triceps are a secondary muscle group in all of your presses, for shoulder presses, for chest presses. So really important to look at all of those things. They will grow. So I always tell people this, that you can do your arm exercises, you can do your specific ab exercises, but do them after the compound movements, or just have that as a fun workout on the weekends. Make that a fun arm and ab day. You can do that. That's okay. No problem at all. But don't let it take away from the compound movements I just named that are going to force the body to grow. Because there's only so much weight, only so much you can really do with muscles that are at the most the size of an orange. That's about it. I mean, how metabolic do you think working a muscle group that's the size of an orange is really going to be? Most people's biceps aren't bigger than an orange. They'd be happy if they were, right? So, I mean, like, think about that. Look at that, all right? Really, really important to look at. So stick with that. Those have been time tested. And you then want to focus on total volume. Go back to last week's podcast on the stressors for the body, right? So start out at a number of sets that you can do. Most people, 6 exercises per workout is going to be great. Okay, that's going to be great. It's going to be the maximum. Start at 2 sets, work up to 3 sets. But there's 2 principles that you need to follow. I've done a show on both of these. These are imperative. Too many people are telling you to do a different workout every single week. Not for maximum muscle growth. It's not going to play out. All of my colleagues that I know who are in the gym or in a studio or working with people in the real world, you lift with a particular exercise and you continue to improve with that particular exercise by adding more weight to that particular exercise each and every week until you plateau. And then you either go up a little bit in reps or you switch to a different exercise. It's called the specific adaptation to imposed demands. It's the SAID principle. It's been around forever. It works. It works better than anything else. The only thing that works better along with it is time under tension. And I talk about this in my book as well. You can do 10 reps in under 10 seconds of an exercise, or you can do 10 reps and it takes a minute. If it takes you a minute to do those 10 reps, you will get better results. Why? Time under tension. Your muscles are under tension for a greater period of time. So here's the important thing to think about that. That's why when you look in research, what's better? 1 set, 2 sets, 3 sets, 4 sets? Well, more sets for putting on muscle is going to help with in terms of volume. But it's not needed if you keep the muscles under tension for more than a minute at least, right? Think of that. Think of 60 seconds to a minute and a half to 2 minutes per exercise. Now, that could happen over 3 sets. It could happen over 4 sets. My recommendation is at least 3 sets. 3 sets. The reason is you need a set to get warmed up. You need to create that neurological pathway with your nervous system. And then after that, add the weight. Add a good amount of weight. Make sure if you're doing 10 reps, that the 10th rep is your last rep. Now, don't, destroy your form in the process, but push yourself. The next set, could you do more? If so, add a little bit more weight. This does not have to be super complicated. It does not. I'm telling you, you can get great results doing this. The next week, your body should be better adapted to that exercise. Add more weight. Not a ton more weight. Just go up a little bit in weight. Make sure the time is the same. Make sure the reps are the same. The variable will be the weight, and you'll be able to do that. Really, really important. And hypertrophy, stay within 8 to 12 reps. Proven time and time again. Can you get hypertrophy doing 5 sets of 5? Yes. Can you get hypertrophy doing 3 sets of 15? Yes. Stay within the 8 to 12, even 8 to 15. The more reps is going to get you more of that sarcoplasmic-based increase, which is what most people want, because it's going to show you larger muscles as well. There's, something called the myofibrils or the actual tissue, and that can increase too, but that happens over time. And that will happen with lower reps as well. So that's why, and again, I've done programs on this. Some days can be lower rep days and some days can be higher rep days, but that's too much for today's show. Go back, check out those previous podcasts on that. Now, the last part is this. And I mentioned it earlier. If you are not sleeping, you are not growing. You have to get at least 8 hours of sleep a night. If you want to maximize your muscle, you must give your body sleep. Why? Because everything that's anabolic will allow your muscles to grow. The more you sleep, the more anabolic environment you're creating, the more growth. That's why if you're overweight right now and you're sleeping 9 hours a day, it's too much. It is. And you can look into the Ayurvedic teachings of the endomorph body type. Doesn't mean you shouldn't sleep. You need to rest. You need to recover. You need to get that body healthy. But eventually, you have to be careful. Ectomorphs, Vata body type, 8-9 hours. You want to put on muscle? Get yourself into that kapha-based state. More sleep, more calories, lift heavy objects to force the body to grow, and be at a surplus. So get enough sleep. If you can take an afternoon nap, fantastic. All the big bodybuilders used to do it, right? And again, we don't all have to become big bodybuilders. I'm not looking to become a big bodybuilder anymore. It's not my goal. Most people I speak with don't want to become that. What they want to become, and there's nothing wrong with that, but if what you want, most people want that come to me, not everyone in the world, I'm not saying that, but they want to have a flat stomach. They want to look lean. They want to look like they're in shape. They want to look athletic. And this is how you do that. You don't have to overeat. You don't have to over-exercise. You don't have to overdo anything. But you need to follow the time-proven principles. Get that sleep. Calm the body down. You could do things like Epsom salt baths. You can do sauna. You can do, even on your off days, some cardio is not bad. You just don't want to overdo your cardio because you'll be more catabolic. You won't be as much more prone to putting on muscle. But a little off-day bike, no problem at all. Some off-day hatha yoga, fantastic. It will help you recover faster, right? So you can still do those things on your non-3 to 4 weight training based days. You can absolutely do that. Hatha yoga is a great one. Again, you can even have some fun with a little bit of light boxing or cardio kickboxing. You can do a little bit of cardio, but make sure they're under 30 minutes. Make sure they're not excessive. And then again, make sure you're getting your recovery on those days too. If you are doing extra exercise on those days, then you add that extra smoothie. So this is it. These are the principles that will help you build the foundation to growing the muscle that you want or putting on a little bit more lean body muscle. This will absolutely help. After this, after you've maxed out with these things, then you can say, okay, I'm going to start using creatine, or I'm going to use more glutamine, or I'm going to use more branched chain amino acids, or I'm going to add, this, and the other thing. And the last thing actually that I just remembered in my mind that I left out, it's going a little backwards, but you want to make sure that you get half your body weight in protein per day, okay? If I was back 20 years ago, I'd be telling you to get your body weight in protein every day. But that's not the healthy thing to do. Would you add more muscle? You'd be more apt because you'd be more anabolic. You'd be adding more of an anabolic food to your body, right? But I can't tell you that with all that I know and all the research that I've done. But get half your body weight in protein per day. Pretty simple, right? Weigh 160 pounds, 80 grams of protein per day. And again, if you're using kilos, just think about it. A kilo, it's 2.2 pounds per kilo. So the math is pretty easy. It's just, again, if someone weighs 150 pounds or so, they weigh about 70 kilos, right? So it's pretty straightforward, right? You can get that in about your protein per day. This is easier than you think. You don't have to complicate it. Get the most you can out of this foundational-based program, and then you can build on top of it. But I'll tell you this, if you don't start with this, all the added little extras per day are not going to help. They're not. Not until you build this base, this foundation. So hopefully today's podcast was helpful. It was a lot of fun for me. I love talking about these different types of things, especially around exercise and training. So I'll be sure to bring more to you in the future if you're interested. And as always, if this podcast was helpful, please do feel free to share it with anyone else you believe it could serve. Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my Health Results Accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stevencabral.com/courses.